Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending our regularly scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting on Thursday, July 9th, 2025. I ask for everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next section would be additions and changes to the agenda, and I believe we have some.
Yes, so first I'd like to announce that our chairman, Keith Pettit, is virtual at this meeting here tonight. He's not present. I just want to make everybody aware of that. And we plan on going to 2 executive sessions in the beginning of the meeting. So I would suggest the board approve moving up the executive session to right after this, and we'll put public comment back on when we come back. And for the regular meeting, and then also to consider moving item 8B, which is a 2-acre tax exemption for the veterans, to move that up to 7A when we go back into the meeting. Because we have the assessor staying here with us tonight as well.
Okay.
I want to make sure Keith is comfortable with that before we proceed.
Yeah, all you guys can vote on it or discuss it.
Keith, are you on?
Yeah, I'm fine with both of those changes. Thank you.
Okay. Without further ado, then, everybody else okay with that?
If the chairman's fine, I'm fine.
Okay, perfect. Then I will ask that we clear the room, or do we want to go upstairs?
So what executive session is going to do is we have to, Danny's going to invite the pertinent people that are in for that executive session, and we'll close the door and we'll stop the recording. But the people that are here for the rest of the meeting can go upstairs. We have another room where you can sit down and congregate or have a drink of water or whatever. And Mallory will assist with that. And as soon as we're done with the executive sessions, we'll come and get you and bring you back into the meeting. That makes sense to everybody. The people that are going to remain for the executive session, of course, is the Board of Selectmen and the Boards of Finance. And then, Dan, you have the list.
Right. Let everyone clear out. Leave.
Yes.
One of my
Before we go into that, can we get a motion to move into executive session?
Thanks for reading my mind. I'm sorry, Keith, can you repeat that one more time?
I just want to make sure that we're making a motion to go into executive session and voting on that real quick.
Yes, we just wanted to clear the room. We're going to make a motion to go in an executive session, and we're going to be inviting in Kent Slater, Stephen Egnault, Andrew Tierney, Dorianne Wolf, and the Board of Finance.
And then the Board of Finance would like to call the meeting after when they have a forum.
Okay. Yes. go ahead.
Diane Del Rosso, Board of Finance for Hebron, calling to order the officially Board of Finance, representing a quorum tonight.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay, welcome back to the Hebron Board of Selectmen regular meeting for October 9th. We have just come out of executive session at 8:43, and we will be resuming our regular session at item number 4, which is, I'm sorry. Before we get to item number 4, we will be acting on motions from the executive session. So the first proposed motion is move that the Hebron Board of Selectmen authorize Andrew J. Tierney, town manager, to enter into an agreement for the purchase of a 13 1/4 acre parcel of vacant land on Hope Valley Road, owned by Stephanie Marie Dinnan Rainey, I apologize, and Vanessa Simiola. The agreed purchase price is $210,000. The property purchase will require future special town meeting approval. Any comments on that motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, opposed nay, or abstentions.
Dan Larson, aye.
Cheryl, aye.
Tiffany Teely, aye.
Claudia,
Riley, aye.
Keith Pettit, aye. That passes. Thank you. And then our second motion from that executive session is the Board of Selectmen move that the Hebron, or I move that the Hebron Board of Selectmen authorize Andrew J. Tierney, Town Manager, to move forward with an application to the State of Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection for an open space and watershed land acquisition grant on behalf of the town for the purchase of a portion of the parcel of vacant land on Hope Valley Road owned by Stephanie Marie Dinnan Rainey and Vanessa Simiola. Note, acquiring this property is not contingent on receiving the open space grant. Any discussion?
Mhm.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye, opposed nay, or abstentions. Yeah.
Dale Larson, aye.
Sean,
John Fitzgerald, aye.
Tiffany,
Tiffany Teely, aye.
Claudia,
Claudia Riley, aye.
and Keith Pettit, aye. Thank you very much. Now, that brings us to item number 4 on the agenda, which is public comment. This section of the agenda is reserved for persons in attendance who wish to briefly address the Board of Selectmen. The board requests that a person's comments be limited to a single period lasting 3 minutes or less. While the board respects the right of the public to provide comment, this time is not intended for open discussion or a board response. Residents who wish to request a dialogue should make arrangements to do so through the town manager's office or the board chair. Persons online wishing to comment should type comment and your name in the chat box, and you will be recognized. Is there any public comment?
I would like to say that, I'd like to see the 2-acre exemption put into rule in the town of Hebron. I think it's about time that the veterans that were wounded, maimed, have mental problems, have physical afflictions. Over decades, this has been, most of us from the 70s. It would be a show of appreciation from the town to give back to the veterans. And the only reason why we're doing this is because of loophole in the original law. If you look at it, and they tried to close it, and they said, no, we're gonna send everything to the locals and let them deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. We're hoping that the locals will see to it, to take care of the veterans in the community. You're only talking 21 people in the town. So it isn't cost prohibitive. So I would appreciate it if you did pass that for our veterans. Myself being the veteran advocate for the town of Hebron. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Joe. Just for the record, can you state your name and address?
Joseph Fetta, 277 Jagger Lane, Hebron.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Please.
Just like to reiterate what Joe was saying. And the other thing I want to say is what I brought up at the last thing about putting a speed limit on the bicycles when they're overtaking pedestrians walking on the airline trail. And the other thing, there is a state statute that requires an audible signal on the bicycles, which I have never heard anybody do out there. They run up behind you at 15, 20 miles an hour, and when they're 10 feet behind you, they yell out, on your left. Well, some of us don't hear that well. We get scared. Somebody's going to get hurt. It's not if, it's when. And who's going to be liable for it? Is it the town? Is it the person that hit whoever it is? You know, but I think an ordinance is required in order to slow some of these people down. Thank you.
Sorry.
John Obuchensky, 38 Settlement, Hampshire.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? Please.
Yes, my name's Jared Staten, 446 West Main Street. This is just kind of reiterate what Joe said, but from the younger veterans' perspectives, I'm obviously not from around here. Originally, I'm from Texas. And when I heard that Connecticut was taking a path to kind of forgiving that property taxes for 100% disabled veterans like myself, it was a real moment for me to tip my hat to the state of Connecticut in appreciation and the way they were moving towards appreciating veterans who really gave everything. And I really hope that the town can follow suit with that and move to allow veterans to have that little bit of leeway and in a way that would show that support to them. As you know, some of us Me being 30, I can barely get around, and it's a rough way to live. And so seeing that moment of appreciation from the state is absolutely astounding. And if y'all can do that as well, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Susan Custin, 63 London Road. I would like to comment about the affordable housing that's being proposed by St. Peter's. I think that this issue has serious financial responsibilities for our town, and I feel that it should be given complete public vetting. I feel that there should be informational sessions and that there should be question and answer opportunities. And after those are satisfied, I feel that the decision should be made by referendum, giving the taxpayers the ability to make the decision. I don't think it should be left to the Board of Selectmen alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Bill? No, please.
Jason Guidon, 94 Cone Road. I'm not sure how the veterans legislation actually proceeds from a town perspective, but I would fully support the idea that our disabled veterans receive the tax break that has been proposed by our state through the town, of course, another technically unfunded mandate. But I think it's well earned by those who've served, which I am not among those who've served. So thank you all for your service in that regard. And I'm going to echo Sue Custom's comments that it would be fantastic to have informational sessions for our townspeople to understand what's going on with the Episcopal Church and housing development project there. I don't know about the voting. It seems to me right now, as it's proposed, it is pretty detrimental to the town long-term, short-term. $10,000 a year in taxes is maybe one student, and it's likely to be more than one student coming out of that operation. Never mind water and everything else that's going on with it. But those are my two comments. Thank you for spending so much time here doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Don't see any online. All right. That brings us to item number 5. Good to know.
Because of the amount of stuff we had on the agenda, we did not. The tour wasn't available again, but we didn't have anything else. I know we wanted the Girl Scouts on it sometime, but it was,
Yeah.
we were kind of good business to do here.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, that brings us to item 6, Town Manager's Report.
Okay, so of course, we're still continuing to work on FOI requests. We applied at the one that was in question, so we should be good. We're on to the latest one from the friends from Mr. Howard, and hopefully that'll wrap that up. We continue to do union negotiations with the Public Works Department. They'll continue next week. Thank you, everyone. We had our Region 8 Insurance Consortium meeting today. It's getting close to budget season. So we start floating our percentage numbers for the budget, especially for the schools. They need the numbers sooner than the towns. It's really way early, but they need something to work with. So we were looking at an 18%, but we chose to start off with a 16% for budget purposes, and that will come down. But that's higher than we've been accustomed to. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but the number is what it is. Of course, we're working with the department heads on the CIP info. That'll be coming in hopefully soon and accurately. So we're trying to get as much assistance with some of the new department heads as possible. Now we've been working with the town center project to hopefully have a couple successful programs that they've put together. Things are coming together nicely. Early voting, we've been working with them. That's going to start October 20th. And I'm proud to say that the town of Hebron was the best overall today in a snowplow rodeo that took place up in Wallingford, Mountainside Wallingford. It's now the New Hope Church. We've been holding our events there. It's a cash show event where all 169 municipalities are invited to attend. They don't all attend, but there was a good turnout. And we had first place in the 6-wheel regular sized dump plow truck at Paul Sylvester, second year in a row. And then Steve Van Cedarfield came in second with a utility body truck that put the town of Hebron in best overall out of the people that attended. So that's the first time we've achieved that. I know that maybe doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm proud of the guys for that. That's pretty good. Great.
Yeah.
Comes with large trophies and recognition, the magazine and stuff like that. So it's a good little camaraderie between
Trying to
towns.
imagine what a wow rodeo looks like.
They set up a course and they put mailboxes up and they put piles of snow, and you got to come as close to the mailbox without hitting it. But Watertown thinks the more you hit, the more points you get. So yeah, we've been doing it for years, and it's actually a pretty good event. And then it's co-sponsored. It's actually a safety driving course to get the guys ready, and it's co-sponsored by our insurance company, Kerma. And OSHA's our partner on that as well.
Nice.
And then I send you emails from time to time just to keep you in the know. We've been dealing with some situations at the library where some kids are acting up. It doesn't arise to the police level, but we've been putting some monitors in there to help out the people and the part-timers that work in the library, and working with Colin to get a message out at the schools. And then we might have to update the program, unfortunately, and have to do some things if it keeps up, because it's not. I mean, I hate to punish everybody for a couple of, bad eggs, but that's where we're at. And that's all I have for now for tonight.
I was gonna say, I also heard that at St. Peter's, they were doing donuts in the parking lot across the street from the church, and
Oh, I didn't
actually did a bunch of damage to property over there.
I didn't hear that.
Okay. And that brings us to the new item 7A, review 2-acre veteran exemption request.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with us, we have our trusted assessor, Suzanne, and I
Good
think
evening.
she supplied some information for this item. And she's here for a quick overview.
Did you all have a chance to review the memo?
Yes.
Okay. So with the latest legislative session, there's the state, instead of passing legislation that was broad,
Excuse me, I never got the memo. Can someone just forward it to me, please? Thank you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
they pushed a lot of options onto the town. One of which has been brought up by the veterans is currently if someone is 100% and disabled and classified as permanently and totally disabled, they are entitled to an exemption on their dwelling. So that would be the house, but it doesn't include the land it sits on or any outbuildings or any excess land, anything like that. One of the local options is, in addition to that P&T exemption that they already received, which was implemented with the last year's grand list or the July bills, is a local option to exempt up to 2 acres of land per veteran, in addition to the exemption they already received. As you can see, there were several veterans who showed up tonight who are strongly in support of it. It's not my place to tell you what to do or what not to do, but what I did provide for Andy is what the impact is. I always think assessment dollars, but I did translate it into tax dollars as well, so you had an idea. It shows you what the current impact is of the land and also what the additional impact would be from implementing, granting an additional 2 acres. Not all veterans have 2 acres, most don't. Some have as few as 1 acre or even less, depending. There are some that have over and above too, but for the most part, most of the veterans don't meet the 2 acre. Again, everything's a moving target because there seem to be more and more veterans who are coming in who have the P&T exemption. From my office, I implemented and I can only report on what the impact is, and you see what currently it is. Joe had mentioned 20, I think we currently have 21 who are receiving either a dwelling or a car if they do not own real estate, if they don't own a house, then they are entitled to a full exemption on their motor vehicle. And we have 3 veterans who are receiving an exemption on 1 motor vehicle.
So is one in lieu of or in addition to? Just want to verify or get the clarification on
With
that.
with with the P&T, it's they are entitled to an exemption on their dwelling if they do not own a dwelling, if they don't own real estate.
Right.
They then are entitled to an exemption on motor vehicle.
Okay.
So I think someone who doesn't own real estate, lives in an apartment but has a car, they would be
Right.
entitled to that exemption.
So you don't get both.
You don't get both.
Okay, that was my
Under
question.
this statute,
Under
there's one statute that allows it. There is one person who receives it. It is not common.
If you happen to know, because I know towns don't always get together to communicate all this stuff, but how many towns in our area have enacted this?
You know, I haven't gotten any feedback yet. I know that there was one town that did. And then there was one town that didn't. And there was a hotline that was put out, but very few responses. And at the time that the hotline was put out a couple weeks ago, if it was on a radar or on an agenda, we haven't heard back yet. I think it's really kind of early to tell.
I've heard anecdotally in the press of some towns passing it, and in different counties, though not.
Yeah, like Lebanon didn't pass it. They voted on it last
Yeah.
week, or a week before. Lebanon didn't opt to do it. But I'm just stating a fact. I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I just thought you wanted to see the numbers and thank you Susan,
Yeah,
for
no,
doing that.
I-
So
Yeah,
what it
no,
would
I
assessment and
appreciate that.
tax wise.
I do have a statement at some point.
I have my own statement at some point. So, don't feel bad. So since we are prepping for statements, and I apologize, I need to plug this thing in. Who has the motion available to do the motion, and we will open discussion.
To open
Oh, I don't think there is a motion.
There wasn't a motion.
Do you want me
Oh,
to
there's
make
not a
one
motion for us to
discussion, or
accept it?
is just-
This is kind of, so I've been prepped in the past. This is
Okay.
the first time you're seeing it, so I try not to rush.
Oh, I was just wondering because I know it was brought up.
It was brought up, but it wasn't on the agenda.
It
So
wasn't
I want
on
you
the
guys to
agenda. Okay.
have time to digest this. And
Nope, I understand.
So then, just a quick clarification question. I saw you had the kind of the 2 line items. What appeared to be the current is 120, and then if we pass the 2 acre, the additional would be that 41
If you're talking tax dollars
tax dollars.
with current
Yes,
values and current mill rate, then yes.
was that first item of the 120, 119, give or take the
Right.
round numbers. I'm not.
Yeah.
And
And
then the second line item of the taxation
Mhm.
was that 40 some odd.
Mhm.
That would be the additional cost to the town if we enact the 2 acre exemption. Okay,
Yes,
just make sure I understand what.
Yeah.
the 120 is going to happen no matter what.
Correct. Yeah,
I mean, it is
yeah.
happening.
Yeah, that is
Right.
what is no matter what. If
Right.
we're voting on the additional,
Just the 41. Yes.
you know, the
Ish.
more, the
It's a
moral,
moving
the
target.
moral implications, like the societal stuff aside, what we're talking about is the possibility of a motion of that $41,000 cost
Yes.
essentially incurred to the town through not getting as much money.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And more people who are receiving it to are real estate owners versus motor vehicles. There are different mill rates for both. I did take that into account. But again, it's a couple $100 either way.
Yeah.
You're looking at is what we're talking.
And then of course the implications of if no other town does.
Well, that's why I was asking how prevalent it is. I mean, and again, in this housing market, nobody is going to come just to get a 2 acre exemption. But for people that are looking, is it attractive that we have this if you fall into that category? Yes. But again, we're not the only person doing it. So I'm less worried about that. And honestly, I mean, I kind of have to sit this one out anyways, because as a veteran, of course I support this. Like, hey, I mean, sorry, I just do.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter what the price tag is there. I would pay whatever the tax bill is because they deserve it. But that's my personal feeling. Sorry.
I agree with the proposal, but, and I will follow the desires of the board. I want to say, however, again, the state has put the town's leadership in the middle. You don't grant the request, we're against veterans. You approve the request, it's going to be on the back of the taxpayers again. And they'll have to carry the additional burden. Similar to the motor vehicle mill rate cap, the affordable housing plans, the state may help build it, but it is the taxpayer that carries the local brunt of the financial responsibility. Now, the next thing that's coming down the pipe is apparently that the state is now setting out new guidelines for what municipalities are supposed to be paying. I haven't read the whole thing, but at what point does the state stop? We talk about micromanaging. It's like a never-ending quest of the state to micromanage the towns, financially, and quite literally, our taxpayers are done. They are strapped, and there is no breaks for seniors in this state. Those are of fixed incomes. I know I am probably going to be having to leave town within the next 3 to 5 years because once I fully retire, I can't afford to stay. It's just that sadly simple. And I literally stood my house up board by board, and I have to go because I can't afford to stay in Connecticut anymore. And I find that sad.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, at the state level, everybody talks about the fiscal guardrails and how great they're doing at the state level and all this other fun stuff. But the fact of the matter is that they're still spending the money, but now they're pulling it out of our pocket to spend it rather than, taking responsibility for it as state taxes. They're just pushing a bunch of stuff down to be town taxes. I couldn't agree with you more, but, again, for this one,
I support it. I do support it.
But I agree. There are far too many mandates coming down, and this is why I never vote incumbent at the state level. Sorry.
So I actually do agree because I think, a lot of my frustration with the state comes from the housing perspective, right? The onus is on us to increase our stock without any help from the state. Just figure it out. So I agree with you. And I fully support this exemption and plan to support it here today. One thing I will point out that the state did allow municipalities to do, and the city of New Milford just did it. They are instituting a homestead exemption where folks with fixed incomes and seniors can go through an application process, and it's a way for towns to provide a tax abatement to individuals in those groups. And that would require, again, that's another mandate. It's a lot of work on our part. I don't even know if it's feasible, but it's worth looking into it.
So Connecticut does allow for homesteading.
So the city of New Milford just passed it. Yeah, they're going to test it. That's like the test case in Connecticut right now. And I think it's worth researching. And I'm not going to sit here and make promises because I'm sure our grand list would suffer or could suffer. And it would be, again, town staff having to set up the application process and do what the step. But the state does allow for that. And it's not relevant to this because I plan to support this, but you made that point. And so I thought, maybe at some point we could discuss it further, seeing how New Milford fares and if other, I don't know, it's worth looking at to try to keep people in their homes. Because for as important as stock is, and I do believe housing stock is needed, we've got to make sure we can keep people in their homes.
Yeah.
So.
There are other options you can explore for tax relief as well. Right now, the tax relief that's offered through the town utilizes the state level, and then they offer a deferral. So there are other things. I know through Mill Franklin, they have a lot of out-of-state property owners. So part of the issue is the housing market in New Milford and the land values in New Milford make it very attractive for people to have secondary homes, which can price year-round residents out. So
Right.
that also plays into it. Other towns, and that'll be a whole deep dive, offer other programs for tax relief that may also be able to target low income or elderly in town as well.
I think that's important. Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, we've got to examine all of it because I'm always struck by, and something my mother always talks about, that yes, stock is important, but people want to stay in their homes. They want to age in place. They want to stay. They want to live where they want to live. They want to stay where they want to stay. And I think both of those are equally compelling and important to pursue.
Now, the deferral, the only problem with that is you still have to pay taxes plus interest at the point that, you sell your home. So if you die in your home, then it's your kids' problems and it'll be tough being them. But if you decide to sell to go somewhere, now you've got an added tax bill that has to be paid. And that's my big issue with the deferral.
Can't take it with you.
I could try. For what I've got, I mean, it's only change.
Just floating out there are other options that you can explore.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm guessing now we need a motion.
Well, we have to.
Well, we'll do that. We can have a motion ready for next meeting.
You can, or you could make one up tonight, but I was always told when it's the first glance at it, you guys might want to hash it out. But if you're ready to go, you could always make a motion.
Are we ready or do we want to wait?
No, we'll make a motion to accept the 2-acre veteran exemption request as based on the state statute. Is that correct? Is it a state statute
Yeah, it becomes a local ordinance.
or local ordinance?
Yeah. So
Yes, we're gonna have to go through the ordinance process anyways.
I didn't know.
Right.
I thought
Yeah.
if you approve it, what are they going to approve it to go to add it to a local ordinance?
Yeah, because I think isn't it gonna be like how we took the alternate schedule on the
Motor vehicle.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be in the
Yeah,
town meeting.
it is.
There's a procedure.
I actually want to see
Did we do
a motion for the next.
Town meeting on
Yeah.
the motor
Okay.
vehicle?
I didn't realize that.
No, I think
We're going to do a
no,
motion.
we did a
We'll have it prepared.
Yeah, we need
So,
the- Yeah, we need the ordinance language.
Yeah, it wasn't a regular town meeting.
Yeah.
So we can vote to move it forward to the creation of an ordinance, and whatever steps are to get that enacted.
Yeah, so if we did that, our motion tonight would be to have the public comment period before the meeting on the 26th, right? Would that,
That's a
23rd?
23rd.
Sorry.
23rd.
Sorry.
Unless you want to come here on a Saturday or Sunday.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of dates in my mind right now.
Yeah, the 23rd is the joint meeting first.
I
And
mean,
then
it's not going to make a difference. We could clean it up and have it on the next agenda if you want.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure we're doing it the right way.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
Yes.
I'm fine with that as well.
Okay.
Okay. That brings us to the real 7A, ARPA, no updates?
Nope.
Okay. 7B, Department of Public Works Action Committee updates.
No, they just had a big meeting and they're going to meet themselves about the meeting, and then I'm sure there'll be one at probably the next agenda.
Excellent. 7C, I apologize again. I am working my way through them, but that is a huge chunk of paper.
Big document.
So but I will try to get my notes to people so that you guys can think about it before. I don't want to just throw another stack. That's a big document. So we will table 7C.
Question on that, on the personnel policies. They have met legal review. If we amend them, they would have to go back for legal review.
Well, we would look at to see how much of a change it is.
Yeah, well, so there's two things about that. Yes, it depends on how substantive a change is. And two, one of the things that I will be bringing up is in at least 4 different sections, it has identical language that says that this is not a legally binding document. So, do we need to waste the money on the lawyer? I don't know.
So just to point of, for the whole board, what was done in the past is, like I said, it depends on the changes. I don't think they did their job already. So if you want to make friendly amendments, the only other step would be is before we ratified it, is let the personnel, the department heads, they show what changes they suggest.
Yeah.
You show not that they could change it, but at least this is what we're looking to do, and they can make a comment before that you accept them.
Yeah, and I don't know what changes everyone else has, but I mean, I know I didn't have any specific benefit related changes.
Yeah.
Most of mine was clarification of language and a lot of, like I said, it's mentioned in 4 different sections how it's not a legally binding document. Is that overkill? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, you don't want somebody to say, well, you said, I here and it's we, or
Right, right,
whatever, something, ridiculous, stupid. You want to leave it fluid enough
Right.
To be applicable.
Yes. No, I agree. But we will, yes, we will cross that bridge of whether it needs to go back for review, depending on what changes come forward.
Okay.
But yeah, that's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it. Any other old business? Awesome. 8A, approve Commission on Aging mission and vision statements.
Once again, we did put a motion to this one. I know it's the first glance, but it's pretty straightforward. If you don't want to make the motion tonight and you want to think about it, that's the choice of the.
I honestly like them. Concise, clear, love it. I don't know if any
You want me to
comment.
Sure.
Go for it.
Move that the Hebron Board of Selectmen approve the mission statement and vision statement for the Commission on Aging as follows. Mission statement: the Commission on Aging promotes and supports a livable, caring community for Hebron's aging population, focusing on their well-being, and supports the Senior Center through active engagement. Vision statement: the Commission on Aging is dedicated to fostering a vibrant, informed, and empowered community of older adults in Hebron. We strive to ensure that seniors have access to the resources, supports, and opportunities needed to maintain their independence and thrive in every stage of aging.
Yeah, I mean,
That's really well.
I thought, I mean, having done the mission and vision statements, like when the Board of Ed redid theirs and some of the state divisions that I've worked for, looking at tweaking theirs, I appreciate that they took the time to examine this and that they came with what I think is a well-written, concise statement that covers, where they see their organization being effective in town. And I'm very happy with it. So that's my comment. Yep. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye, opposed nay, or abstentions. Dan Larson.
Dan Larson, aye.
Sean Fitzgerald.
Sean Fitzgerald, aye.
Tiffany Tealy.
Tiffany Tealy, aye.
Claudia Riley.
Claudia Riley, aye.
And Keith Pettit is aye. Thank you very much. That brings us to draft agenda for October 23rd. Any changes or anything else?
I think we're going to add a motion for the 2 acre exemption.
Oh, yes.
Yep, we'll need to add that.
Okay. Yep.
I got to do something.
I like it. And then that brings us to any other new business.
Mm-mm.
All right, fantastic. We're not missing anything. Good. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to item 9, consent agenda, approval of minutes from September 25th, 2025, regular meeting.
I had one,
You have a modification?
I believe I do.
Yeah.
I believe it is not John. I believe it is Jardo is his legal name.
Yes.
I'm not positive.
Yes.
Okay. Because it says, John. Oh, but John Street. It should be Jardo.
I believe that is his name. I mean, do you have the tax rolls?
I don't have it on me, but I remember reading it and, the name is, it is a misspelling of the name.
Okay.
I can go look it up if you want.
No, I've always known him as Jardo.
Yeah.
I'm positive his name is Jardo.
Okay, so friendly amendment. Any other changes or additions? Okay, all those in favor of the amended regular meeting minutes from September 25th, 2025, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay, or abstentions. Dan Larson.
Aye.
Sean Fitzgerald.
Robert Fitzgerald, aye.
Tiffany Teal.
Tiffany Tealy, aye.
Claudia Round.
Claudia Riley abstain.
Okay. And Keith Pettit is aye. Noted. And that brings us to liaison, AHM.
Nothing for AHM, and the Hebron Board of Ed meet tonight.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I know. For the finance?
Nothing. They were upstairs tonight.
I know, they should have told us themselves.
Yes.
All right, land acquisition. I don't know if I talked about it last time, I might have, but the last time land acquisition met was to recommend the purchase of the Simiola property, which came before us tonight. So, I know they do have some other stuff that they are working on, which we will probably see in the next maybe couple of months. But they will get to that as they get to that. And, you know, I just, again, remind the Board of Selectmen that in recent budget, we have, you know, not been overly generous to them. So I'm glad that we are keeping those options open as we can make these purchases.
And that was something that we had actually discussed during the budget negotiations, was that if, you know, a piece came available, you know, that we would work with them
Yeah, do
for
our
that
fair share.
purpose, you know, and the same as we had said to the Board of Ed. You know, if something happens, something breaks, we're not going to let it just stay broke.
Mhm.
You know, so I think we're showing our commitment to what we had stated during the budget negotiations.
I agree. Ram BOE.
Nothing to report.
Excellent. That brings us to item 11, public comment. Is there any public
I
comment?
have a public comment.
Please.
Todd Havoc, 98 East Street. Letter of correspondence tonight from Lou Palishaw. To me, that's very pertinent business with the DPW. And I'm trying to make sure everything is public and forefront. I don't know why. I'm trying to find out. I've had several neighbors ask me questions one-on-one about how to get a letter to the town to be read into the record. And Lou sent in a letter. I had another neighbor that said he sent in an email to the town. I don't know if it was to Andy or whatever, but about questions about the DPW. What are you looking at me like that?
No, I looked at my emails before I came to the meeting tonight, and
No, it wasn't. With the letter from Lou Palishaw to the Board of Selectmen about not being able to be here, and he had questions about
That's in the packet.
It's in the.
It's in the packet.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled the packet up and read it, and to me, it's a very pertinent letter, and I think it should be read into the record because it is pertinent. I mean, we had a Zoom meeting with the architects, which we're going to discuss at our next DPW meeting. But I'm talking as a resident here about how the process is when people ask me how to get their voice to you. Lou said he sent the letter to you, to the Board of Selectmen, to the town of Hebron, addressed to the Board of Selectmen. It's in your packet. And like I said, I haven't followed up on the other neighbor that said he emailed the town. I don't know if he emailed you, Andy, or.
Anything, so it's up to the board how they want to proceed, but anything we get, we put it into the packet, and I don't wait. I send it, any correspondence that are addressed to the second, we send it to them in their town emails.
Okay,
But it's in the packet, but we don't normally read, sometimes you can have 50 letters, we don't read all the letters, we don't have enough time to conduct business of the town, but if they want to change that,
Well, the way it's, I apologize. We're getting out of the format of public comment.
Yeah, right. Public comment. I just would like to know the proper avenue, and I don't know how to get that from you or from, to get letters when people ask me personally, or they send me an email to my town email address. I'm here as a resident, so I'm not, but I want to just make sure that I verify the path, because I think that Lou Palstraw's letter should be read into the record because it has some very valid concerns. And as now back as the liaison, as a member of the communications team, this has been a big problem with this town, with this project from the get-go. It seems like everything's being hidden. So I just want to make sure how to get it there. I'm going to verify with you, Andy, how to get it there because I want it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we add something in the new business, something to that effect, where we can talk about the process, communication, transparency for the record so that the public knows?
But yeah, I think, well,
We have to, you know,
outside, yeah, outside of, let's get back to 11. After this comment, I know we should not be engaging in a back and forth with public comment, but to Andy's point, we do receive a lot of correspondence, and that is included in the packet as correspondence when it is not meant to not be. There are certain things, like I received an email from Ellen on you had already spoken about it in the good to know about the residents and the paving. What is that road by Marlboro?
Oh, paper mill.
Paper mill. Thank you. Ellen had sent me an email again thanking the town for paving paper mill. You had already brought it up, so it wasn't necessary to include that separately because I conveyed that message along and it was taken care of. However, most correspondence that comes to us is included in the correspondence section of the agenda. It is not specifically read into the record unless the author specifically requests that it be read during public comment, at which point one of the present members can read it into the public record as a read item. But unless they specifically request it to be read, a paper copy will be part of the agenda. That is technically in the record. It's not read into the record, but it is part of the public record that is available as part of the backup documents for this meeting. So that's how we'll move forward. But I agree. I do want the public to hear it as part of this meeting, that if you submit a letter to us, it will just be included in correspondence unless you specifically request that it be read during public comment.
I'm thinking, and again, we need to do it. We'll have to open it up, new business or whatever next meeting. But where packets with all letters pertaining to the project may be somehow able to be viewed. I don't know. We can discuss it. We can't discuss it now because we're past that, but I'm just thinking out loud.
Let's add that, Dory, if you can add that to the October 23rd under 7B.
Selectmen. We already have one, we'd have to amend it or add it.
We now have a DPW on 7B for next.
I mean, the document, if you want that the protocols for the selectmen, that's the item we would add that to. You can bring it up under anything you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just,
Somehow.
to Dan's point, if we want to talk about correspondence specifically related to that, then I would just throw it under there as a correspondence discussion. Sure. I apologize. Now we're back to 11. Is there any further public comment? Nothing online? Okay. We already did executive session and the action resulting, so that brings us to item 14.
Move to adjourn the Hebron Board of Selectmen's meeting at 9:31 p.m.
Ouch. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night.